Today's lesson is on how do we connect proportional relationships and slope. The slope of a line is the ratio rise over run. So it can be written as rise over run. The rise is the change in y, and the run is your change in x. This can also be represented as delta y over delta x. We also have a slope formula. Slope in math is always going to be represented by m. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Jack graphs how far he plans to bike over a 3-day charity ride. Find the slope of the line. Take a second to copy down the question and draw a quick sketch of the graph. So if I want to find the slope, I need to find the rise over the run. So I'm going to pick any 2 points that fall perfectly on my grid. They give these points to me, so I'm going to pick this point and this point. I could have picked any points. I could have included this point as well, but I'll just pick the first 2 that I see. My rise, I notice I start at 30, I go up 10, 20, 30. So my rise is 30. My run, I notice that my days are going by 0.5 because each 2 is represented by 1. So I go over 0.5 and I go over 1. So my run is 1. You always want to keep your slope as a fraction unless you get a whole number over 1. Then we can just change that directly into 30. So my slope m is equal to 30. Now, how do unit rate and constant proportionality relate to the slope? My unit rate, as we learned previously, is the cost, the miles per 1 day. So if I want to find the unit rate, I can pick this point. We went 30 miles divided by 1 day. And when I do 30 divided by 1, I get 30. So my unit rate is 30. So my slope and my unit rate are the same thing. My constant of proportionality is when you take every point and you divide y divided by x. So this point is 1, 30. So if I do y divided by x, I get 30. Here, if I do 60 divided by 2, I get 30. 90 divided by 3, I also get 30. So when I get my constant proportionality, that is represented by k, I have k equals 30, which is also the same thing as my unit rate and my slope. So in any proportional graph, my slope, unit rate, and constant proportionality will all be the same number. And the last question. The graph shows the proportions of red and blue food coloring that Taylor mixes to make purple frosting. What is the slope of the line, and what does it mean in the problem situation? Take a second to copy down the question. So I have to find my slope. My slope is always going to be rise over run. I pick points that fall perfectly on my grid. They give me this point and this point. Even though this point doesn't fall right on my grid, it's okay because they tell me the numbers. So my rise, I'm at 35 and I go up 5 to 40, then 15, 25, 35. So my rise is 35, and my run, I'm at 25, and I go over 5, 15, 25. So my run is 25. And you always want to reduce your fraction, so I can reduce this to 7 over 5. So that is my slope. And it said, what does it mean in the problem situation? Meaning, in terms of what's happening here, what does it mean? So since I reduce it to 7 over 5, that means for every 7 red drops, Taylor needs 5 blue drops.